G'day folks, Connor here, back with another video. Now today, can you hear the echo in here? But anyway, today we are reviewing the Oppo A60. Now, I just want to put this out there from the start. There comes a time in a young phone's life where it just becomes irrelevant. There's a reason I'm saying that. Now, first spec out of the way that I want to talk about, 299 Aussie dollars. So that's about 100 cents US. 299 Aussie is pretty cheap. I'm talking about the Oppo A60. What do you get for 299 Aussie dollars? Well, the first thing you get is a nebula red colored smartphone. Ooh, baby, that looks pretty good. I like that. Nebula red. There is also a color called ocean blue. While I'm talking about the look and design and stuff like that, I might as well mention that it does say that it is multiple liquid resistant. I don't really know what that means because there's no IP rating here, but I'm guessing it means you can get a splash on it here and there. And they also say that it is military grade shock resistant. So you could probably drop it from maybe here and it wouldn't smash. I believe that it's built pretty well. And I must say, I do like the feel of it. Like, look, you all know that I don't like big phones. I would prefer smaller phones. So anything around that 6.7 inch mark is a bit too big for me. But this isn't too bad at 6.67 inches. Just the way it's built, the way the edges are chamfered nicely, I do like it. I think it's got a nice feel to it. And I do think it looks pretty good as well. Again, for the price, oh, look at that color. I don't think it's too bad. And the camera display on the back is pretty stock standard. You know, you've got the square face with the two eyes. Pretty standard. 50 megapixel, mind you, but we'll get into the camera soon. And also about the display, not just is it 6.67 inches, but it also has up to 120 hertz refresh rate, which is pretty cool. Now, it's not like 1 to 120 hertz. I think it's like 60 to 120 hertz, and it peaks out at 120 hertz. It is also 1000 nit brightness, that's peak brightness, but generally sitting at around 600 nits, which is pretty dull, but again, it's a $299 phone. Now, in saying that, it is dull, but I haven't had any issues using it in the daylight or under any sort of light. Like, I think it's fine. It's just not super bright. So if you are at the beach, you are going to squint a bit, maybe try and cover it a little bit, but it's good enough, definitely. Surprisingly, with the software, you do get Android version 14, which is what my Pixel 8 Pro is currently running on right now as well. So I am impressed with that. It also has ColorOS version 14. We're pretty up to date there. Now, I think Android 15 is being released in 2 days at the point I'm filming this, so I don't think we'll get it here. We'll get security updates along the way, but I don't think we'll jump up in any big major releases. But we'll see over time. Now, powering that is the Mali G57, the MediaTek 6300, and 4 gigabytes of RAM. Now, it does have that software RAM expansion feature, so you can actually go, I think, to 7 gigabytes of RAM. But at the end of the day, we have 4 gigabytes of hardware in here. That is going to cause some lag. Putting it out there. 299 Aussie dollars. This is about as low as you want to go when it comes to smartphones. And I would say if you can afford a little bit more, then maybe go up to the Oppo A80 or even beyond that, because you really start to struggle here. Now, it does do everything that you ask it to. It just does it slowly. So you do have to take that into account. Again, 299 Aussie dollars. Now, I have seen some other reviews from people who've purchased it, and they're saying, yeah, there's some pretty serious lag here and there. So just be mindful of that. If you're someone that wants a really snappy, really fast phone, again, not the Oppo A60, it's just a couple of rungs below what you need. Emailing, SMS, scrolling social media, that sort of thing. But there just might be a lag when you open the apps. Open Facebook, there's going to be a lag. Open Google, there's going to be a lag. Open your messages, there's going to be a lag. And unfortunately, there's no way around that at this price point. Now, same with the gaming. Now, it can load the games, and you can see from the footage here that it's playing Asphalt 9. So you can actually game on it, but it's not going to be the best experience. 120 hertz refresh rate is going to make it feel better than what it is. But generally speaking, the specs are going to speak for themselves. There's a lot of S's going on right now. The good thing is here, you got to look for the positives in all this. And so you have this hardware that is a little bit underwhelming. The software, which is good. Oppo software, I like. Android 14, I like. The hardware in here, not so strong. But you do have 5100 milliamp hour battery that is going to power you for 2 days at least, in my opinion. Now, if you're a super heavy user that records a lot of video and photo, you're probably just going to get a day like any other phone. But if you're also a medium to low user, I'm going to say 2 days use here. I really think you can squeeze that out of this. And that's because of the low power consumption that you're going to get with the hardware that's in here. Now, as part of that 5100 milliamp hour battery, you also get super VOOC charging 45 watts. So that's pretty good at this price point. And I always say that I think Oppo has the best and fastest charging solutions, especially in their high end. But super VOOC 45 watt, you can't really complain about that at 299 smackaroonies. So thanks, Oppo. I like that. Now, it does have NFC Bluetooth version 5.3, so nearly the latest and greatest Bluetooth. And that NFC enables you to do your Android Pay or Google Wallet, whatever you like to call it. So there is some up-to-date modern features here as well. And you're not getting left behind with 5G enabled. So I think you can be fairly confident that in getting this, you're not really getting left behind, but just don't expect yourself to be jumping ahead of anyone. Now, it is only 128 gigabyte version here, so that's a little bit on the light side, but something you don't get with the flagships, you can stick a 1 terabyte micro SD card in here. So there's plenty of storage options. Like, I never use 1 terabyte, not even on my Pro phones. So to get up to 1 terabyte micro SD to be able to put in here, that's pretty impressive. I like that. Now, for security, you have fingerprint scanner on the side, which I hate, don't recommend, wish you would never ever put it there, but it does have Oppo's very reliable and very fast face unlock. I would say to anyone getting an Oppo phone, just go straight for the face unlock. It's going to work 99% of the time, and it's going to work fast. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, huh? The elephant in the room is the Red Nebula camera. 50 megapixel rear-facing camera and a 5 megapixel front-facing camera. Don't get your hopes up here, anyone. Look, it gets the job done. It gets the job done. It can take a selfie, it can take a photo, it can take a basic video, but that's about it. Your highlights are going to be blown out. Your shadows are going to be very dark. You just need to take photos in good lighting, and in those situations, you're going to get a decent photo. But anything in low light, forget about. Anything where you need a bit of dynamic range, you're going to have to forget about it. But it does come with all the Oppo features that you get, like your beauty mode and stuff like that. But look, I don't want to go on too much about the camera and pretend it's something more than it is. I feel bad saying things like this about this little phone. Oh, little baby. But the truth is the truth. Something else I do want to mention about the software, there is a lot of pre-installed apps on here. I mean, like 15 pre-installed apps that you probably don't want. I'm talking Facebook, TikTok, like 6 or 7 different games, booking.com. Like, there's so much extra apps on here. It's a little bit overwhelming, but the good thing is you can uninstall them all pretty quickly. So I did that. But yes, you do have to go through them all one by one and remove them. And here I am recording in 1080p 60 frames per second. That is nice, but it doesn't get any better than that. It is just 1080p 60 frames per second on this 50 megapixel camera. And then on the front, I'm going to flip to that now. And now on the front camera, we actually have 5 megapixels, but we do also get 1080p 30 frames per second. $299, it's what I would expect. Now, they do have 720p on both front and rear facing cameras. I really don't know why we have that anymore. I just am confused about that. However, this is 1080p 30 frames per second in like good lighting, like studio lighting. So make what you want of it, It is what it is. I will also show you some quick clips from outside, and I will also turn off the lights in here and show you some clips in low light. Okay folks, as I promised, this is the 1080p front-facing camera in the same room with no studio lights on, just a normal ceiling light. And this is the quality you get from the front-facing camera. I'll quickly flip to the rear now. And here is 1080p 60 frames per second. No studio lights, just a typical ceiling light in a typical room in your house. This is the quality you're going to get. And I'll quickly jump outside so you can see the footage there. Alright, this is the front-facing camera, 1080p 30 frames per second outside. It is overcast, but still this is the sort of video you can expect in good lighting outdoors. It does the trick. And this is the rear-facing camera, 50 megapixel, 1080p 60 frames per second in lighting outside. As you can see, it's overcast, but this is what you can expect. Look, that's it. I can't go on too much more about the Oppo A60. It is a budget phone. If it's all you can afford, sure, get it. But if you can just scrape in a little bit extra, then I highly recommend that you go and get a little bit extra for your money. Anyone who can't afford anything else, maybe a kid's first phone, and then maybe someone who's in their older years who just doesn't really need a phone, but you want them to have one for safety reasons, then this could be that phone. So it does the trick. Thanks for watching. Appreciate your eyeballs. Catch you in the next video. Check it.